What do you do when you got a GTR, you've got a Lamborghini Aventador, and you got a Chevy Corvette to choose from? What vehicle do you go with this much horsepower? Stay tuned. I'm going to show you what this Corvette is, the baddest Corvette ever built. This 2017 Corvette that is available for sale right now is absolutely the most amazing Corvette on the market. I'm going to show you this video. I'm going to do a walkthrough of the exterior. We're going to go through the engine compartment. We're going to talk about the interior. We're going to talk about all the upgrades this vehicle has, which will absolutely blow your mind. When you see this vehicle, man, this video is not going to do it enough justice. Seeing this car in person, coming down here and purchasing this vehicle will do you justice. If you're looking for the most amazing, competitive, 1,000 plus horsepower Chevy Corvette, which you compare to a GTR or a Lamborghini that's sitting both in the garage, this by far is your choice of your next car, man. This thing is freaking just badass, and we're gonna go over it here in a second. All right, so there's so much to explain on this vehicle, and the best person to explain is actually the owner of the vehicle. His name's Mike, a longtime friend of mine. Mike and I go way back for about 10 years. So Mike and I said, hey, we need to explain to everybody what this car actually has and what it's bringing to the table. So let's take a few minutes and let's go through a couple of the features in the exterior of the vehicle. Mike, what's the best place to start on this thing? I mean, it's just like trying to eat an elephant. Like talking about this car is like trying to eat an elephant. There's so much to it. So where's the first bite start at, man?
So what you really want to know is where the car started from. It's a 2017 ZO6 Corvette with a 3LZ full equipment package. It is a fully loaded automobile. There's not a single option you can't get. We also went a little bit further with the red Brembo brake calipers. The interior's got red stitching on the Napa black leather, red seat belts, red paddle shifters. Just an absolutely beautiful car. It's a ZO7 package, which is a ultimate performance package. Very rare for a convertible. Extremely rare, one of only 3 at the time we purchased the car. It gives you the side skirts, the front splitters, the canards. It does give you the performance data recorders in the very front of the car, which are cameras that monitor and video the car's performance on a track. It will actually record the telemetry of the car, how much throttle, how many G-forces, all those things while you're racing the car if that was what you wanted to do. This car has actually never been tracked. It also gives you the huge tail on the back, which is a fully adjustable airfoil to help you give you downforce while you drive.
Man, Mike, that was like a mouthful of features and benefits this vehicle has. So I'm just going back to the cameras on the front of the vehicle, recording data as you're driving if you took it on the track. You mentioned to me before, I do believe you could download all this video?
Yeah, it all goes
from
into
the vehicle?
An SD card, which is in the cabin, and it all is recorded to that SD card. So you basically just pull the SD card out, put it in your laptop or your computer at home. You can watch how you did.
That is awesome, man. Tell me, now you said this is actually part of a ZO7 on the side skirts?
Yeah, the side skirts, the airfoils up front, the splitter, the canards, those are all part in carbon flash, which is an upgrade, all part of a ZO7, what they call Ultimate Performance Package.
Mm-hmm.
It does include the airfoil in the back. It also does include carbon ceramic brakes with the performance data recorder. And you'll notice with the carbon ceramic brakes, you'll never ever stop as fast as these carbon ceramic brakes can stop. They leave extremely low amounts of brake dust, almost no brake dust on the car. It's just an amazing driving experience as you drive the car.
These tires, you mentioned to me before, tell me about the tires and wheels on this.
So the car actually has an upgrade we put on the car. We had custom built monoblock wheels from HRE. They're called P101s. They're in satin black. They're 21-inch rears and 20-inch front. The rears are sitting on Pirelli steamrollers. They're 375 2021 tires, which are about $1,500 a piece. You used to be able to buy them for about $750, but you can't get them anymore, so we had to special order. We actually ordered 3 sets of tires for multiple cars that we have, and we just decided to put them on the Vette.
Okay. So that's at 375 2021, which is, as you said, from Pirelli, extremely rare. And I think you mentioned Pirelli doesn't even really build these much anymore, do they?
No, I mean, if you took a shot from the back of the car so you could see the tires sitting on the ground, you'll see how much contact patch, and you'll understand why we did that with this car, why you need rubber on the road. This thing definitely needs as much rubber as you can get. So these are the widest street tire you can buy.
And hopefully we can see, the people at home can see the contact. I mean, you're talking like a good 2 feet of contact on the road on each one of these tires. I mean, that is awesome. Tell me about this Corsa exhaust.
So the exhaust was changed. We did LG full-length headers, X-pipe, and a Corsa Track Extreme exhaust. We took away the 4 little exhaust tips that the stock Corvette has, and we put in just the one black that fills in the back. It looks menacing, but the whole theme of the car has been completely blacked out, or what a friend of mine calls murdered out. It's just an awesome setup for the car. Everything's black, even under the engine compartment, with the exception of a couple small red styling cues.
Okay. Good deal. All power top from the factory?
Yes, the top is actually all power. It's part of the 3LZ performance upgrade. The cool thing about the Corvette is you can actually operate the top up to 40 miles an hour. You can put it up and down.
Wow. That is good stuff, man. This car, the exterior is menacing. I think actually, we're gonna cut out and do what's underneath the hood here and see what we got there. Okay, so let's see what's under the hood of this menacing beast. There is so much going on here. The work, the craftsmanship, it looks like it came from the factory, but this is nothing here says factory at all. So I got an education on this vehicle this morning. Mike's gonna roll through, and let's start with the K-Tech Performance.
So what we did with the car is we took the factory Corvette, which is 650 horsepower, which is supercharged with a root style blower, and we wanted more. So the K-Tech is actually a cylinder head. We took the cylinder heads, we send them out to K-Tech Racing, who design and build the C5R factory race car. They ported, polished the head, they put bigger valves, dual titanium valve springs, just made the car more indestructible. One of the reasons we did this is because everything on this car is designed to last indefinitely, to give you tremendous reliability and absolutely the best performance available, with money not being a consideration. This was an open checkbook build. So when we look at this car, we'll just roll through some of the things we did. We did do the heads for the car through K-Tech Racing. We did order new injectors through IFC, which flow 30% better. There's only about 100 sets of those on planet Earth in use currently. Extremely pricey for the injectors, but the best money can buy. You also have the coil relocation kit from K-Tech, which you can see right here. MSD wires, ignition pack. You can see the catch can, which we put in to take any oil blow off. The fuel pressure regulator through a new 4 Innovations low side fuel system, which uses a dual pump setup. A methanol injection system, your fill, your methanol line, your methanol pumps in the fender. Obviously, the heart of all of it is your centrifugal blower from ProCharger, which you can see we murdered that out too. It's all black. Everything's been powder coated black. Just an absolute amazing. We do have a red plate that goes underneath the ProCharger for the plenum up top if you wanted to add a little bit more red, but we like to keep it all black and just red. The air to oil, air to water intercoolers right in the front fender, in the front bumper. We do have a cold air intake through K&N on the front. The car does have a harmonic balancer, just an absolute awesome setup. Everything you could possibly do to a Corvette to make it more powerful, we did. The parts, we didn't expense any of it. We didn't pinch pennies on any of it. And everything you'll notice has a bracket, has insulation. There's no electrical tape. There's no zip ties. This was done so it looks like a factory build.
Words, man, this is, I was asking about the belts. I mean, even the belts were upgraded. I mean, Mike, I mean, what else could be done to this car? There's really nothing else.
There's nothing else you could do to the car. With the amount of power the car makes right now, it makes 968 to the wheels on pump gas. It does have the flex fuel E85 conversion already integrated, so you can run it on E85. It'll make 1,084 horsepower to the wheels, which is roughly 1,200 plus horsepower automobile. The car does also have a nitrous system fully plumbed. However, we did not plumb it to the motor. It's just for show. If you look in the fenders, we tucked it in right here. It's actually on both sides of the ZO6. We have an LED ZEX purge on both sides of the car, just to blow red smoke and intimidate everybody that even wants to roll up on you.
I love it. So it's, other than being badass, it actually puts out a show. I feel like we're like at Disney or at Vegas, man. So when that purge comes out and the red LED lights up the smoke or the purge, I mean, it just looks like amazing, right?
You'll have to come back at night and do it at nighttime so you can really see it. You don't notice it as much during the day.
Got it. Well, let's cover that nitrous. So let's start with what we got going on back here in the trunk area. So, Mike, we
obviously don't have any trunk space left, very little. That's one of the downsides. It is part of the 3LZ package, so it does have an automatic electric trunk close, which is really cool. We did add a dual bottle nitrous system into the back. You'll see it has the remote bottle openers here. All the brackets have been powder coated red to keep with the theme of the car. The Jake Racing skull from the Corvette racing team, and obviously Superman, because this car is, if there was a car that Superman would drive, this would be it. It is absolutely an amazing setup. The stuff that you don't see is the most impressive. It has a 6-plate relay system that's been custom built. It uses factory GM harness, so if it ever needs any type of maintenance or you bring it in for warranty work, you just unplug the harness. There's no, again, electrical tape, zip ties, wiring nonsense that you see when people just throw their stuff together. This has all been done as professionally as you could possibly do it, and they charge you for it too.
What is the 6-plate? Explain that one to me.
So what it is a plate. This system uses quite a few relays to run because you have to purge, you have to open the bottles, you have to put everything actually operational. And instead of just having a relay here, a relay there, a relay sitting someplace else, everything electrical taped together, zip tied to keep it out of the way, they built a plate, put all the relays on the plate, put it in one location, connected it to a factory GM harness. So when the center console comes off, if you ever have to do any work from the factory, they just pull the plate off, they unplug it, and you can plug it right back in.
Nice. So tanks are there, purge is here.
And you'll notice nothing's connected to the motor. We've never run nitrous. Again, when you're making over 1,000 horsepower to the tires, there's really no need for any more power.
Right, because it would actually just be counterproductive.
Yeah, I mean, you'll hear and see all these videos and people talk about how fast and how much power. But I'm just going to tell you, when you're driving a car that has really that kind of power, this car will break these tires loose as much rubber's on the ground at over 100 miles an hour. Just standing on the gas will snap them off the ground. The only thing, and I mean white smoke like you've never seen in your life, the only thing that's going to keep this car on the ground is a set of slicks. And we have those too.
Which we do. Right over here.
And that's if you want to actually try to get into the car and really move.
So, slicks are available too?
Yep.
All ready for immediate delivery.
Slicks are from Nitto. They're NTO5Rs. It's a street legal tire. The contact patch is massive. Those are the fronts. They've never been bolted to the car. They're on 19-inch Ford Star wheels. Obviously, you know when you're taking the car to a track, which we haven't done at this point, but you want sidewall, you want flexibility in the tire. Obviously running the 21-inch, you don't really have a whole lot of flexibility, so you don't get much traction. And even with a huge piece of rubber, the contact patch. But if you look at the slick, you see how much contact patch is on that tire. I mean, that thing is a 345 19-inch slick drag radial. It's unbelievable.
345, 30, 19 right there.
So we played with the car in order to get the car to hook up. You want to be in third gear. It's an 8-speed automatic. You want to be in at least third gear at 45 miles an hour after you've driven around for about 20 minutes. And if you stand on it in third at 45 miles an hour, the car will hook up without breaking the tires loose. But that is the absolute maximum or minimum start that you want to have the car. You don't want to try it on street tires at 70 miles an hour and stand on it. It's just going to break loose and white smoke the tires.
So I'm going to do a little quick comparison. We have the Lamborghini Aventador S right here in the garage, same year, 2017. The tires that are on, tires wheel package that you upgraded to and put on the Corvette actually is better than what's on this Aventador.
Yeah, better, it's same tire, Pirelli, it's wider. So there are 21-inch wheels on the Lamborghini stock. The Vette has 2021s because it looks menacing. I think everybody agreed the Lamborghini is really a menacing looking car when you see it from the factory. So we wanted to give it that same menacing style, and we gave it a 21-inch setup, but with a 375 rear tire compared to a 355 rear tire on the Lamborghini.
375 versus 355. And I think the stock didn't come at 355, kind of like the Lamborghini? Or this?
No, the stock comes with 335 with the performance package with Michelin tires.
Got it. So this is amazing, man. Well, you know what, Mike, I'd like to hear is, let's get on the interior and show what features we got on the inside. Let's see this feature. You can actually remotely put the top down of the vehicle from the remote of the car.
And again, the cool thing about this car is you can actually operate the top up to 40 miles an hour up and down. So you don't have to pull over if it starts to rain, you just have to slow down. And slowing down in this car can sometimes be difficult.
At the speed this thing moves at, man, that is definitely true. So it actually says folding top motion complete. Gives you a message right there in your...
Some of the cool stuff in this car, David, you'll notice it's got a little carbon fiber inlay in the steering wheel. It's got red stitching in the steering wheel, red stitching on the gear shifter, the dashboard, the seats. It's got the Corvette emblem on the seat. It's got the carbon flash speed bumps for the tonneau for the top. The 3LZ package is actually really cool because it gives you full touchscreen navigation. It's a high Wi-Fi hotspot. Just an absolute awesome car. It does have the heads-up display, which we'll try to take it for a ride later and hopefully be able to video that, but it does have the heads-up display standard. It is a power steering wheel and power telescopic steering wheel. You'll notice it does have the red seat belts and the red paddle shifters. Those are also upgrades. Again, trying to keep the theme of the car all black, murdered out, and just a couple small details with the red. Just really makes the car look awesome.
This car is...
And if you don't think it looks awesome, you don't have to watch the video, so life's good.
I think awesome is maybe an understatement. I don't know, what words can describe. Looks like we have some speakers right there behind the seat there too.
Subwoofer, yeah.
Subwoofer right there behind both seats.
Now the factory car does give you the ability to change the shift habits of the car. It does give you the ability to change the exhaust note. There's nothing you can do to slow this car down at this point. The exhaust note is just obnoxious all the time. However, when you have the top up, it's not so bad, but it is still aggressive. This is basically a street legal factory drag car that you could take on the track if you really, really, really know how to drive. One of the reasons we actually are going to put it up for sale is because we've spent so much money on the car. We made it so powerful, so aggressive. It's just too much car.
It is a lot of vehicle. Yeah. If you just got your driver's license, this is not the car for you. If you're inexperienced, I mean, you had our friend George. He drove this vehicle, right?
Yeah, George is driving a 10-second GTR, 800 horsepower car. Very aggressive. We ran his GTR versus R17. He smoked us. He ran a 10-second quarter mile, 10.2 at 136 miles an hour. We gave him a ride in this, but again, with the slicks bolted to it, started in third gear, and pinned him to the seat where he turned a different color and just couldn't believe that the acceleration of this car in third was so much more aggressive than his car coming off the line with launch control.
Launch control and all-wheel drive.
Yes.
So this just being rear wheel, I mean, the sick power this thing produces. Well, let's light up a couple of features on the inside. So I get the opportunity to actually get in here and show you features of this vehicle. So I'm going to get in here and get this vehicle started. Before we get started, just covering typical, the door locks and everything like that. You got two programs for memory seats right there, power windows, the door opener, power mirrors, all the standard stuff there. There's your top control there here, so you can see this. Oops, is our trunk opener. This off, was it security off?
Yes.
I think it's just security and everything. So light settings, these paddle shifters. Now this was also a upgrade, you said?
Yeah, when you get the red seat belts, you get the red paddle shifters as well.
Nice. ZO6 and the carbon fiber. We already talked about this red stitching.
And you see where the typical little cigarette lighter would be right there. If you touch it, you got all your nitrous controls right there hidden.
This is sweet. And as you mentioned before, I guess we would literally swipe right.
Yeah, to turn it all on, you just push everything to the right. To
Click,
turn
click,
it all
click.
off, you'd push everything to the left.
Push it to the left, put it right. And then the purge is when it's engaged on.
Yep.
Okay.
And just intimidate all the cars around you and people.
That pissed everybody off. All right, so this is, I love the ZO6 that describes here 1,400 horsepower, 1,400 pounds per torque, which I think we've actually crushed that.
I think it's all in the detail, and you notice the detail that went into the car. It really just stands out from somebody that thinks they can just go buy a Z06 stripped down for 70, 80 grand, and thinks they're going to put a Pro Charger on with install and fuel system for about 25, 30 grand. This car is just so much more.
All right, well let's give it a start up here, and
Let's push the button, put your foot on the brake.
foot on the brake. We're gonna go ahead and get this thing a start, and let's see how it rolls. All right, so we gotta talk really loud because this thing does have some loudness to it. So
You're gonna notice it's got no check engine lights on, no nonsense, no codes.
even though the tire pressure is perfect,
We run the pressures really low just because it helps a little bit of traction.
okay,
Even though it's kind of pointless with the street tires on it.
okay,
If you look at the oil pressure on the left-hand side of the Speedo, it's solid. The temperature is cool right now, but the car runs cool.
good deal, good stuff. And you got a little heads-up display. There it is. So I can see the heads-up display from where we're at, which looks good. I got a clear shot of it. Of course, our navigation and the screen, which we do have our hidden compartment behind there. This was the USB port for the download of the data
Yeah.
from the cameras out front. Boom. Even this rear view, it's like frameless. LED lighting everywhere.
And you can look at the fuel pressure regulator under the hood. It runs solid. It's got no issues with the fuel system. And when you have a car like this, I mean, this kind of power, you really need air and fuel.
So let's check that fuel pressure. Now that we're running, I'm gonna roll right into the, everything's sounding like it's supposed to. All our pulleys, belts, and shimmy and shake to it, and then, so
You can really feel the compression of this car is, how loud this car actually is.
get the right harmony of it.
Once the car gets warmed up, it'll start to roll crazy.
Yep. There we
It's
go.
almost like it's getting angry.
Yep. You know, Mike, probably the best thing, let's take this thing for a ride, man. Let's just see how it sounds. You know how it sounds, but let's just feel how it's supposed to be. Okay, so I just jumped in here with Mike. He's going to actually drive the vehicle, but just want to give you a test drive of kind of all the features and everything like that. So, backup camera. It has some additional cameras. So we got which views that we got here?
So this is the front of the car, on the passenger side of the car, and then you have the rear of the car.
Awesome. All right, so 3 different views, and we are just, what mode are we driving in right now?
So the car really only has one mode at this point. It's always, it's kind of standard default in the track mode. we're just going to cruise around the subdivision, not going to get on it or anything. Obviously, not a whole lot you can do with the street tires on the car from a performance standpoint. And we want people to be able to hear the video.
Yep. So I'm just got to give you a bird's eye of. So as you said, Mike, no lights on or anything like that? Everything operates?
Yeah, the car runs perfect. It was built perfect, designed, spec'd out perfect. Had a lot of really good people responsible for the actual build and tune, and had 4 different shops actually come together on this car. Just tried to find the best of each to assemble it, to design it, and then to tune it.
So 4 shops put a lot of pride went into this, craftsmanship.
Yeah, we love the car. We absolutely. It's got 2,674 miles on it right now as we drive it around.
Right by the.
We absolutely love the car. We have about 3 other cars coming, so we need some room in the garage. So unfortunately, this one drew the short straw.
It has arrived.
And you'll notice as you drive the car, it's pretty docile and quiet. Once you get the 2,000 RPM in the car, which we'll do for you, you'll hear the blow-off valve for the blower when it's not making any boost. It's just blowing out the sides. The windows are up, so it's not real loud, but you'll hear it noticeably when we roll down the windows and we get to 2,000 RPM.
So we are just... Alright, so...
You notice the blow-off valve. You hear the air from the blower.
Yep.
It sounds like an airplane getting chased by a drag car.
Woo! Man! That was loud. That was awesome. Yeah, it's got a nice crisp sound to it too, man. That's just like...
And you're gonna notice we're only going 20 miles an hour. Really at less than 2,000 RPM. It's just the car is so aggressive. If you really just want a car that has more performance than anything you'll ever use, and sounds beautiful, drives beautiful, this is it. This is the ultimate Corvette.
I don't think anything... There's nothing in your garage that stacks up to it. I mean, I am a Lamborghini fan, and you know, that is a beautiful vehicle, but this thing, all in all, for what it's, all the value that you bring to this thing, with all the features on this vehicle, I mean, man, you can't go wrong with this. I mean, this thing is just absolutely amazing. Let's do one without talking.
Kind of get a drivability of the car. You know, we're doing 35 miles an hour, just kind of cruising through the gears in 5th gear. Very docile.
Very smooth for the size tires are on here too.
Well, yeah, that and the perfect cam. You know, the idle's perfect. It's not so aggressive that the car lurches and lunges and makes tremendous power, more than you'll ever be able to use.
That's up. Sorry.
This is just definitely one of those cars where you have everything at your fingertips. Power, performance, luxury, sound, adrenaline. The visceral experience is just unbelievable.
The sound, I can't get over the sound of this car. That is what brings that's like, it's snapping necks out there. People are just turning like, what is that? I mean, it sounds better than your Lamborghini. I know.
Different sound with the V12, but you couldn't hear anything else start if this thing was sitting next to it, that's for sure.
It does, it is overpowering. But that's what we love about it, man. This car is just, I mean, it's so awesome. You just have to experience it yourself. This vehicle is for sale. It is available, and as Mike had said, do have more vehicles coming that are arriving. We'll be doing more videos on cars like this that we have for sale. And this is just something that if you are looking for performance, luxury, and just you want something that you can also enjoy with the top down, because not many cars like this you can enjoy with the top down, and actually cruise around here in Florida in June and enjoy yourself. So that concludes our drive. We're signing off on this beautiful machine. And that's to let mama know that you are home. When you got that kind of an exhaust, everybody knows that you are home.